You're listening to Rodney Rogers Outdoors Radio, where we turn it upside down and look at the outside from the inside out. It's safe, it's legal, and we're having a blast. So put your shoes on, my friend, because we're going outdoors.
I forgot how this works, Mike. Welcome to Rodney Rogers Outdoors. I am Rodney Rogers. That right there is my partner, Coach Ease in Crime.
We go live, and then you talk.
That's how it works.
A, and then B.
It's been a while, man. We've had some snafus. We've had some things go wrong. And I was just over here jabbering. I haven't even adjusted I'm just going to act like I'm good to go.
You make yourself at home.
How we doing?
I've unplugged a couple things. We've taken a couple steps back. I'm going to downshift this week and enjoy the ride.
That's what I like. Mike the Man Coy himself.
Yeah.
So, dude, now that we've got the bugs worked out, I think we might get to have a full show. But you know what? You got to give us credit. We went years, absolute a couple years without a hitch in our get along. We had a snafu every now and then, but never a total crash like we've had, the last couple of weeks. I mean, it was just
That was hardcore.
Yeah, that was. Did you ever find out what it was?
And that's the worst part of it.
Oh man. So it's just
trust me, I tried. I mean, I thought,
I know you. Yeah.
Reinstalled the testing and everything worked fine. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know.
Yeah, because you tested it right before we got on the air for quite a while.
And I don't know if it was a gremlin in that particular video we were trying to show on the pre-roll, but I say that, but then we crashed later in the show too. So, not to rehash technical problems. We're here fine. Things seem to be rolling great.
And we're back in business.
I haven't seen you in a week, and we took a week off because you did some travels. You were out in a boot.
So I definitely did some travels. So I went and seen my son in San Francisco, which was absolutely – I love San Francisco. If you've never been, I flew to San Francisco for $260. I mean, but where else can you spend – I spend $200+ just going to the Everglades for the weekend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And for $60 more, I can go to freaking San Francisco. Absolutely. Now there's some more cost when you get over there, but I think I budgeted. I stayed in some really nice places, and I'm going to put all those places I stayed up that I would recommend if you just decide, man, I want to go up there. I want to drive up to Glass Beach. I want to drive up the Pacific Coast Highway there. Just look at the coast. I mean, it was an amazing drive. Everything I did was absolutely amazing. I mean, I had no hitches in my get along the whole way. The only thing that was strikingly scary was a motorcycle went off the cliff right in front of me, a little bit in front of me, and that was a little spooky. But luckily, there was another drop before the cliff, so they went off.
Really?
Dude and his wife, yeah, when I'm driving up the coast. And dude, they were just freaking out. But they couldn't get their motorcycle back up the hill. And where I was, it was like you're 2.5 hours to a town this way and 2 hours that way. They were right in the, so they were 3 hours from help. So yeah, it was
wow.
Pretty. Yeah, they were pretty bummed out about that. But they were both okay. It had to be scary. Their seat. Excuse me, the seat was clenched up, in the butt cheeks, the kind of thing. But I can't imagine. I mean, it's a motorcycle heaven, man. These roads are.
Oh yeah.
So but these guys were on Harleys, so they weren't really. I think what happens, the dude was just looking at the beautiful ocean, and he was gone.
Wow. Wow.
He was absolutely gone. So I got to stay with my son. We got to spend some quality time together, and. I always love hanging out with him. He's the man himself. He loves it over there. I wish he'd come home, but I'm glad he's not. Because I get to go there, and I've got some place to stay. So we saw, man, I mean, is everybody seeing what we're seeing right now?
They are.
So we saw this real nice buck, man. That buck right there is already 17, 18 inches wide. And
that was earlier in your trip, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was like the second day.
Where was that?
That was in just outside. It was on. It's called US 1, which is Pacific Coast Highway. It goes up the coast, and it was this little bitty town right around, my gosh, Tamales Bay. It's like
Okay.
Tamales Bay goes down into California.
Is that where the oyster thing was?
That's where the oyster thing was. That's exactly where the oyster thing was. So, you pull over there. They pull these fresh Pacific Coast oysters right out of the bay. And I'm going to tell you what, they are horrible.
Really?
Well, you know what? We're used to these East Coast oysters. The water is different, so the oyster just tastes 100% different. If you're an East Coast person, you're probably not going to like the West Coast oysters and vice versa.
Interesting.
It's just there's two different waters. There's two different oceans. So the water's totally different. And remember, you're just basically drinking the water. It's going to taste what they're in.
Well, let's come back to the oyster thing. What are we looking at here?
So here, check this out. On the beach, on that highway.
I thought you went to an Indian reservation.
No, you're going to come across a ton of beaches. And these beaches have these washed up logs, these driftwood. And I mean driftwood like you've never seen before, Mike. And what these people do is their kids, their day on the beach is basically they're just building huts, man. I mean, they're just building little huts to get out of the wind. And
who's they?
Just the people on the beach.
Locals?
Locals.
Homeless?
And no homeless. No, it's not like it's a homeless thing. I mean, like here, they built a hut like we would build sunshade. We would have a tent or a canopy. So they basically built.
It looks pretty cool. I'd hang out there for the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of them were elaborate, dude.
Did they sleep there?
No. Well, you know what? I don't know. I didn't see him sleep there. The gentleman that you saw in that picture, I got to speak to him a little bit, and he was just. Now, let me tell you what. That dude's sitting there in the shorts, and those kids were in shorts and T-shirt. It was 49 degrees, bro. Look at those. I mean, they got surfboards. They're swimming. I'm bundled up. You don't see it in this picture.
Wow.
But, dude, I got a jacket on. I got a hood on. I got gloves. I got mitts.
I did notice on one photo. Yeah, you have.
I'm wearing mucklucks. You know what I mean? The Eskimo shoes.
Muckluck.
And so they build these things, and it's just they're all over the beach as far as you can see. And they're just cool. This wood don't weigh. I mean, the biggest piece of wood there weighs 15 pounds.
Yeah, it's driftwood. So
it's just driftwood. So it's just dried up, and it's absolutely gorgeous wood. And they just build these huts, man. I mean, I found one with a coffee table inside, and I mean, it just with a little cot that they could rest on. So yeah, it was absolutely amazing.
That one, if you look close, you can actually see the PlayStation in there.
Yeah, exactly. And in the back, there was like a canopy there where they had, somebody was sleeping in that one. They were just resting on the beach. I think way back in the corner.
That's pretty cool.
He may have came out.
That's a lot of work for one day. I'm thinking they spend the night.
Yeah.
Or at least come back the next day or something, right?
Yeah, and then that was the Oyster Bay right there. It was I just thought that was a cool picture, man. It was.
Yeah, you got a couple of your typical classic Rodney cool pictures.
Yeah, and these. This was I stopped on the side of the road. I seen this river down in there, and I went down to this crystal clear river, and there's a bench. How cool was that bench? I mean, it was just there, just there, for no reason. Just it may have washed down. Obviously, it came out of.
Did you sit on it?
I didn't. That water was ice cold, and if I would have went in, I'd have died of hypothermia before I.
It's a very cool shot.
Before I even got out of there, but I mean, dude, it took me 10 hours to go 154 miles. Now, I could have done it a lot quicker.
Well, you could have driven faster.
Absolutely. And not stopped. Yeah. But I stopped so many. I mean, I was like a freaking kid.
You have to. I'm glad you mentally slowed down a little bit.
Oh, yeah, dude. I geared it way down, man. And I got off the road here. I got off the road there. I just got off. I didn't even question it. I thought, if I want to see it, I'm stopping. And if I passed it, I turned around. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's not easy to turn around up in the mountains. I'm going to tell you right now. But, I would turn around because I was like, I may not get this shot at this highway again.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to pass up something super cool. And that's what I did. And I didn't see that bench till I got down in the water.
That's cool.
I saw this creek, and I'm like, what I was looking for while I was up there is the pans. I wanted a pan for gold.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. I just wanted to, just diddle around and see if I couldn't pan for gold. But I never found a pan, and I don't think there's much gold around that area anyway.
So you're out for a solid week.
So I was out for a solid week. I came back that Friday. I went up to Glass Beach, which was Fort Bragg.
Okay.
And Glass Beach, if you don't know the story, is basically from the early 1900s to 1965. So for 65 years, they dumped their trash over this cliff. And trash being, it was a lot of trash. I mean, it was just trash. I mean, I'd like to say, and they turned it into an attraction. Because what happened is they dumped so much glass bottles that over the years the glass would break. Now, obviously, you couldn't walk on this beach during that time, and it tumbled. Over 65, 70 years, it just tumbled. Now it's 1900 to 2000, it's 115 years.
Really?
Yeah, this glass is just tumbled itself. So they look like little stones. So, the picture you see with the rocks and the glass.
That's what that was.
That was Glass Beach. That's pretty much what it's been reduced to.
Okay.
And they ask you there not to take the glass because, it's their only attraction. There's nothing in Fort Bragg but a great brewery, with horrible food, but the beer was good. And, obviously there's a couple beaches there with glass on it. So it was absolutely beautiful. And, yeah, right there. That's the shot right there. And there's tons of this. I mean, you can't miss the glass, and you can still see the glass, and it's beautiful, man. It really is. But there's a huge chunk there that's just. It looks like a 15-ton boulder, but it's just 100 years of garbage encased in like, this concrete stuff.
That's pretty cool.
But that right there,
That's cool.
That's cool. That iPhone 7, man. That phone right there will make you look good.
You shut up.
And so I got pictures I didn't even post. I haven't even had time yet. Just old tires where people over 100 years have carved their name in these old tractor tires. These tires are just encased in this concrete. I mean, when I say concrete, I mean it's encased in just mud, and
wow,
it's turned to concrete over 100 years.
Wow.
So it's an amazing sight. If you ever get up there, it's Fort Bragg. Don't hesitate to email me. I'm going to try to get all this up, and I mean, obviously when you're out there on the road, it's hard to post.
Sure, yeah.
There was no signal for 10 hours. Okay. I mean, I think I called you when I had signal once.
Yeah.
And then you probably seen me disappear after that. It was
That's
like 4
4
or 5 hours at a time. And then I got back Friday night, and we went offshore fishing. And then Sunday, from Friday afternoon, we're trying to find these pythons, and we just drove the Everglades like I've done so many times here lately.
They're like little snakes.
Yeah, like little snakes.
They're just
hard to find.
Yeah.
So
slithery.
And we're gonna get them. It's just I'm gonna take a break from that, but. One of the coolest things I've seen, Mike, and it was, the canals that you and I drove down and saw, it was crystal clear.
Yeah.
All that's gone. There's nothing there.
Because of the drought?
Because of the drought. There's little puddles of water.
It wouldn't take much, yeah.
No. Remember the beautiful crystal clear river that we crossed with that big bridge we took pictures on?
Kidding.
Gone. All that's just completely just a mud pack. There's nothing there.
That's sad.
And the last time I was there a couple of weeks ago, there was a little bit of water there, slowly trickling, and there was alligators there. And now the water's gone, so the alligators have to move.
Yeah.
If you see a water puddle, you're going to find an alligator. And this was that case. We're like stomping down. There was some fish. We were fishing, and there, we saw these baby catfish. We thought, what kind of fish is that? So we're dipping this net in this water right here. And my nephew looks up and says, hey, what do you see there? And I looked over and I go, hot dang, that looks like an alligator. He goes, that's what I was thinking. So we walked a little closer and poof, that's what we see. Now that was a 9-foot-plus alligator. It was hissing and wiggling up in that little cave right there.
The size of his snout.
I know. When you get in on that snout, man, I mean, it's just absolutely a massive gator. And so, I kind of did a little video, and I'm going to post that. And it basically just talks about, man, here we are walking. And then I got back on it and shot it, and you wouldn't know it. I mean, you really wouldn't. You would walk by this spot literally right in front of it.
Yeah.
And I don't think he was there to ambush. He was scared. I mean, this alligator, there's no getaway. There's nowhere to go for these alligators. So they have these dens all along this embankment, and it kind of gave me a new light to slow my butt down and really start looking because, this is definitely not one of the places you want to be traipsing around.
It's not where you would look to find them.
No. It's not. Certainly not where I would look.
At least your gut, yeah.
And there was another spot where we seen a big one go in, and it was a little hole. And I'm telling you, this hole had to be, I don't know, 10 inches wide. It was about halfway full of water, and it just looked like tree roots. And it was another little mud puddle, and we didn't see the alligator. He was underwater, and it just took off across. And I thought, oh my God, where's this thing going? And disappeared into these roots. Disappeared. Gone. The hole was like that big.
Wow.
And it just went in. I saw him wiggle his tail through and
that's crazy.
Disappeared. 100% gone. So, that was the second time we were there. We were like, okay, we're going to stay out of these creek banks because these things are already stressed out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And even though you're fishing, there's a lot of fish there and they're fun to catch. They live there. So you kind of got to back out and go, okay, we come across 2, 99% chance we come across another puddle of water. We're going to startle them. Let's just leave them alone. They're stressed out enough.
Well, this low water thing has to really be, that's a stress we don't even think about.
Yeah, it is absolutely.
This is their whole habitat.
Disgusting down
up,
there.
Yeah.
It is. There was one where we were there a couple of weeks ago, and we saw an alligator. Took my son down there when he was here. There was an alligator that got in a fight with another alligator, and his snout was busted. He had a big hole in his snout. And when he popped his chops, water would shoot out of the top of the hole. And his head was literally cracked all the way between his eyes. So they locked in and got into a death row. 2 alligators did. And I got to that spot. Here it is a week later. And I got to that spot, and there was a dead alligator there in the exact same spot. Oh, wow. So I'm 99% sure it was that alligator.
That's a tough one to live through.
It was. How it was still alive then. These things are super resilient, but this thing cracked his skull. It tore its, almost tore its jaws off. So, it was pretty bad.
I want to acknowledge Patrick texted us or Twittered us through our RROR, hashtag RROR.
I didn't even do our intro.
And he just said, hello, guys. Can we text you through at YouTube and at Backyard Bass? Have a great day. I guess you could, but we wouldn't see it. I need to set that up so we can. But that would actually maybe be a little bit better. Oh, yeah, because your Twitter personal is Backyard Bass, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
We'll set that up so you can. Patrick, right now at this moment, we won't see it here live on the air. So thank you for that, Twitter.
Well, we may, because I've got my iPad on
so you're seeing
Wi-Fi.
Okay.
So, if it's up there, maybe we'll see it.
Try it there, Patrick, while you're running. You're always running. When are you not running?
Yeah, exactly. When are you not running? Okay.
I need to pick Patrick's brain because if you follow him on Facebook or his YouTube, I'm very interested how it's like he lives the life of Robin Leach or something. I don't quite get it.
Oh, I know. Yeah. This is another episode of The Rich and Famous.
So Rodney, I have a question on one more photo, if you don't mind here.
Go ahead. Hang
on.
Lay it on me.
This one here.
Oh, this, man, I stopped in a place called Manchester, California, and it was actually the farthest peninsula of California, the farthest west you can get in California.
Tell me the story and ignore me because I'm going to get in my closet here real quick.
Okay. So, it's basically like a little rummage building. And I'm going through all the cool stuff that's inside of here. I'm in there. I'm just rummaging and seeing all the cool stuff, the antique, the whatnots and what have yous. And I look in this bin and I see that, oh my gosh, they're 8-track tapes. Man, check this out. So I'm going through the 8-track tapes, and a lot of it's, gospel and stuff that I didn't recognize. I didn't know what it was. And then all of a sudden, I saw the 8-track tape that absolutely made me fall in love with Simon and Garfunkel. Really? And this was the tape that I had in my van in high school. It was an 8-track Simon and Garfunkel tape. And when I saw it, I went, oh, this was meant to be. This was definitely meant to be. And when I saw it was $1, bro, I had $1 in my wallet. Literally cash.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Normally, I kept telling myself I need to pull over and get cash because I'm going to need it at some point. Did I just kill it? Did I die?
No, keep talking. You're good.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay.
Yep.
As long as we're good. So, and then all of a sudden I thought, this is it. And fate would have it that poof, I bought a Simon & Garfunkel 8-track tape for $1.
That's crazy.
Yeah, for the only $1 that I had in my pocket. And I don't have an 8-track player, so I will be in search of an 8-track player so I can listen to my 8-track tape.
That's pretty cool.
That was pretty awesome.
I gotta show you one here though.
Okay.
Because we live parallel lifestyles, I think.
Right. Stop.
Let me get it here.
Look at that one,
that, folks?
Mike.
It's gonna be too bright.
That's way better than mine, I think.
The Partridge Family.
The Partridge. You know what? Matter of fact, you and I talked one day. You told me you had a Partridge Family tape, and I didn't believe you. I thought, no way. You ain't lying.
Yeah, I can't be talent and tech at the same. I'm actually holding up to the wrong camera.
Oh, are you?
Yeah,
okay.
There we go.
Okay. The Partridge Family tape.
So, do you know any of these songs?
I don't know.
I should have told you to bring your 8-track in tonight.
Yeah, I don't have one yet, but I thought you would have one for sure.
I probably threw it away this weekend.
Yeah.
I'll meet you halfway. Let's see. You're always on my mind. Doesn't somebody want to be wanted like?
You know what? If I heard it, I know
like
I would know. Who didn't watch
Other
the
people are
Partridge Family?
singing. Brittany's singing that right now. I guarantee you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
she's hearing that.
I didn't.
Let's see. Umbrella Man, Morning Rider on the Road. That'll be the day. She'd rather have the rain.
Yeah, I think you would probably. Oh, look at you! I think you'd probably.
Well, you know what? You can't tell it now, but I used to look like Danny Bonaducci with the red.
No, I've seen your.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Maybe that's the connection. I'm not sure.
That might be the connection. So that's the story behind that, And then I went, and from there I drove to Glass Beach, and and then had a beer at the most awesome freaking brewery. I don't even remember the name of the brewery. It was just one of the little hole in walls. They don't sell all over the world. They don't distribute. So it was phenomenal. So from there, I went to Napa Valley. I got across there. I came across the mountains, and I'll tell you this: there's got to be Sasquatches, because if there's ever been woods with a Sasquatch, this is it. This is the most Sasquatchy woods I'd ever seen in my life, and it was just east of Fort Bragg. So if you look up Fort Bragg, California, you just look east and you see it gets real mountainous up there, and dude, it's just green. It's got all this cool stuff. And I know for a fact, I just feel it in my heart, there's a Sasquatch up there. So, Sasquatch, if you're listening, dude, I feel for you. Those trees are just beautiful. I would live there, too, if I was a Sasquatch. So, excuse me. So, then I came down through there. I came down through the tip of Sonoma, and then I drove to the far north end of Napa Valley. So, once I got into Napa Valley, then I started finding the wine places. But I'll tell you what, the coolest thing I found up there is a sports store. I found a sports store up there, and they had archery, they had rifles, they had shots. I mean, they had everything. Apparently, and I didn't know this, California is, way up there in hunting, fishing, obviously fishing. It's one of the top duck hunting spots in the United States. So I got a couple guys up there. So I'm definitely going to be hunting up there sometime around once duck season starts. I'm going to say November, October-ish. So I pray that they have room for me once we get up there. I'm excited to get up there and see some ducks, because they were naming ducks that I had no idea even existed. I don't know, Hedemus corporandus, flippigabarus. Yeah, something like that. No, I didn't shoot him. I didn't know what it was.
Duck laws must be totally different out there.
Well, it's federal, so they're got to be pretty close.
That's a good
I mean,
point.
depending. The only thing.
That's a really good point.
It'd be the take on ducks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They would obviously have different counts for different species.
Yeah.
So I'm interested. I haven't even had a chance to look at the duck laws there yet.
Why would you, right?
Yeah, I think up on YouTube I posted the West Coast Oyster Bay video. Hey, if you're on YouTube, I've got it up, and you want to comment, try a comment. I don't know if we can answer it there. I don't know if we can see it there, but it'd be worth taking a peek.
No better time than right now.
So that was my California trip, man. You know, and obviously I got back and went to the Everglades, went offshore, and it was a busy 8 days, Memorial Weekend. The only day I took off was Memorial Day. I stayed home
and worked.
I remembered the fallen soldiers and worked.
Yeah,
I did. God bless every one of them, man. So yeah, it was a filled weekend. I'm telling you, man. And what was funny is there was times when it was 49 degrees outside. And there was times when it was 97 degrees outside, and it just depended on where you was.
Surprised you're not sick.
You know what? I'm surprised I'm not either, because this marine layer moved in. It's called a marine layer, and it was a fog that moved in. Let me tell you what. Once this fog moved in, bro, it's done. You're done. Driving went from 40 mile an hour to 10.
Different story, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's literally, you got 15, 20 feet visibility at best when it's at its highest.
Wow.
You know, and then it would thin out a little bit. But, man, once that fog moved in, holy moly, scary stuff.
You're scary stuff, Rodney.
You're scarier stuff. So that was my California trip. You can hashtag us at hashtag RROR. You can text us at 262-345-7763 if you got a question. So, Mike, lay it on us.
Here we go. Gag season, Rodney.
Woo!
Starts June 1st.
Gulf side.
Gulf side. Take us through this, man.
A lot of people on the Gulf side has been waiting on this. The gag grouper seasons are getting a little shorter on both coasts. So you want to take advantage of this. Pay attention to your grouper rules. A lot of those have changed as well. The recreational harvest in most of all federal. Now here's the key. State and federal of Gulf waters, I can't hardly see it from here, remain open through December 31st. So it'll be June 1st to December 31st.
Right.
So the minimum size is 24 inches for gags. We're talking gags here.
Okay.
Daily bag limit, 2 fish per person within a 4-fish grouper limit, aggregate limit. Let me explain something to you. If you have a captain on the boat, he cannot keep 2 fish for you as well.
Okay.
Captains and first mates do not get to keep fish. So, if you hire a boat, don't think they're going to get to keep. Used to, the captain would keep 2, the first mate would keep 2, and if you were by yourself, you'd keep 2, and you get to take 6 fish home.
And you're saying gag only.
Well,
as opposed
to other grouper. You got to look at your groupers. Look at your black groupers, your scamp groupers. There others have been in season. This speaks of just specifically gag grouper.
Okay.
So you got hind grouper, snowy grouper, rock grouper. Bro, the grouper species just boggle the mind.
Sure.
Absolutely boggle the mind. So Gulf state waters are from 9 nautical miles out. Remember, East Coast, 3 miles. West Coast, 9 miles. Before don't get that mixed up.
Federal waters, you got to know it.
Federal waters, you got to know it.
These rules apply.
Where the state waters end to extend to 200 nautical miles. So from the 9-mile mark to 200 miles. On the East Coast, 100 miles. So
okay.
Okay. If you go out, here's the thing to remember: if you go out, like say you go out on the East Coast, and you keep federal limits of fish, on your way back in, you cannot stop to fish for anything else.
Straight home.
Straight home.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Do not collect $200. Just get home.
Okay.
And they want your rods up, tied up, everything buttoned up, and you not stopping.
Okay.
Unless your boat breaks down.
We've also got some changes in the Atlantic snook.
Woohoo!
Closing in state and federal waters June 1st.
June 1st. So, what you got tomorrow? So if you're going to keep a snook.
One more day, right?
Yeah, one more day, absolutely.
Yeah, one more day.
Yeah. And you're only allowed one. 28 to 32.
Yeah.
That's it. One snook.
Yeah.
So enjoy it. All one of them.
Good eating? I ask you that every time.
Absolutely phenomenal eating. And I keep busting HP Hollow Point Hector's chops about it. They caught a snook. And the guy that went out with us just sucked up all the snook. He didn't give nobody any snook. He didn't even ask me, Mike. I'm upset.
He knew something.
Oh, it's absolutely awesome eating. You know, it's amazing. I haven't eaten snook in years. I mean, that's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's been, I'm either catching them in the off season or catching them too short. So I haven't eaten it in years, and I didn't even get offered a piece of snook. He no sooner looked at us, bagged it up, ran in the house. So yeah. Thank you for not giving me any snook. Am I whining? Yes.
It's all right.
I'm whining.
That's worth. Hey, you know what? My wife texted me today from Whole Foods.
Oh, really?
I meant to look this up. We went live, but they've got lionfish pizza.
What? I'd have to try that, Mike.
I almost should have served it on the show tonight.
Yeah.
She said Whole Foods has lionfish pizza.
That would have been
that
would have been awesome. Lionfish pizza.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, totally crazy.
All right. What else we got? Moving video testimonials encourage boaters to wear life jackets.
Especially kayaks and paddle boards. Especially. Well, you know what? If you're in, like, when I'm in my John boat, I got to get another SOS vest. You know, the small vest, like they have the suspenders.
Yeah.
So I can keep them on my John boat, man. It's just,
well, they've got this the boat the Wear It campaign, which is actually a national campaign.
Really?
We've
I
got
haven't heard about this.
Wear It Florida, Wear It Tennessee, Wear It Arizona. But what they've done is they've interviewed up on YouTube, on the FWC's YouTube channel. They've interviewed 3 people who have had dramatic experiences or life-changing experiences because of life jackets.
Really?
Yeah. Florida Wild, let me just read some of this because they wrote it better than I could say it. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission is releasing compelling life jacket testimonials from 3 North Florida families whose lives have been changed by wearing or not wearing a life jacket when things went wrong on the water. So this is a call to action for every boater to enjoy Florida's beautiful waterways safely. Tony Spivey and his son honor P.J. Whitley, whose beloved stepfather tragically died while boating without wearing a life jacket. And Larry Doc Cox, whose life was saved by the life jacket he purchased the same morning.
Wow.
So there's 3 stories here, but I won't play the whole thing, but I did want to just, if you don't mind, I just wanted to play a clip so you can kind of see.
I dare you.
The day began like any other day. It was a typical Sunday morning. We were going to church, got ready to go. My stepdad had just finished fixing our lawnmower and had brought it back to the house. And the grass was still wet, and he told my mom he was going to go sink some worms. He had a few left in his bucket, and he was going to go sink some worms and wait for the grass to dry. I was sitting in the church, and it was 11:20, and my phone buzzes, and it's my sister, and it says, "Daddy's fell in the river, and I don't think it's good." And so I got my husband, who was sitting beside me, and our son, who was sitting in front of us, and I said, we've got to go. Something's happened to Curtis. When we got there, they already had the boat landing taped off in yellow tape. It was just crazy. My mom had just gotten there, and there was a man there who lived beside the boat landing, and Curtis was friends with him, and he had talked to Curtis right before he went out into the river that day, and apparently, I guess when Curtis fell out of the boat, he yelled for him to help him because he was out in his yard, and he said, "Help me, Ray, help me." And by the time he got back out, there was no sign of Curtis. So our first thought is he has swam to the side of the shore, and he's probably in the woods somewhere, and probably already walking back out towards the road. But days turned into a week.
Anywho.
You got the Jeff.
Yeah. I think it's neat what they've done is when you hear somebody, that person tell the story,
right?
It's a sobering reality, rather than just reading it on text or seeing a news headline that somebody's died because of not wearing a life jacket. And on the flip side, having people tell you, I literally saved my life. So I think it's a great thing they've done here to
absolutely
do a nice video of these people telling the story, whether it's a great outcome.
And that's their YouTube channel?
It's on their YouTube channel.
So maybe we can repost that or just swing it up.
I'll put links on the homepage to those.
Absolutely.
Because I think that's really good. I didn't want to show the whole thing. But I think they're 8 to 10 minutes long a piece.
I
there's
think
3 of them.
Most people have been touched by some of that. Our Uncle Jim, we got that same call.
Yeah.
He loved fishing at Ugali Causeway. We got the same call. And you know what's funny, when she said, that's exactly what we thought. There was so much shoreline there. The first thing we thought is, he made it to shore and he's walking along trying to get to the highway. So, yeah.
And it happens like that.
Oh, yeah. Before you know it.
That's the thing. We're guys are full of testosterone, and I don't need it, and I feel silly, and I don't. I'll sit on a throw in the back. We all get all that.
Been there, done that. Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, it takes one thing that's out of your control that you cannot control.
Absolutely.
To turn the circumstances around really, really quickly for you and your family.
That's a good video, man. I'm glad you found that. I'm gonna watch them tonight.
They posted that was on their news feed this week, so I thought, let's just play a clip of that. And
that was me getting a text. So let me see.
Anything awesome coming in on the?
Todd said, "Okay, I'm in." So I filled another spot for the boat Sunday.
So do you have one more? Is that what you're saying here?
I have.
Unless Todd's taking 2.
Let's see. Yeah, I got one more. I got one more spot. So
fired up charters.
We're going out again. You saw we caught a bunch of amberjack. My gosh, we caught 7 species of fish that day.
Well, here's an interesting question then for you, Rodney.
Okay.
Because we've been dry.
Oh yeah.
We've been in this drought. And now starting tonight, this is Tuesday night before midnight, it's supposed to start raining, and it's supposed to be a pretty soggy week.
Right. Yeah, I appreciate you.
No. But it's going to be perfect on Saturday.
Sunday.
Oh, even better. Yeah. Yes. Saturday's going to be great. Right. Sunday's going to be awesome.
Gotcha.
So my question is, does that affect for offshore fishing or even for freshwater, does that affect what the fish are doing at all? That it's been.
Excuse me.
I guess the fish haven't had much of a drought.
Yeah, exactly. On offshore, no. If it affects the inshore due to the heat and no rain, nothing to cool the water down, it doesn't deplete the lagoons because they're, they have an endless supply. They do go down a little bit because of the drought. There's some of it's a little bit landlocked, so it will go down.
Sure.
But on the most part, it doesn't affect the offshore. It does affect the little inshore, but obviously the bass fishing, the freshwater fishing is just absolutely, a lot of people still catching fish, and they're seeing that the fish got a lot of worms. It's just they got the lice all over their slime. You see the little bugs running around. Yeah. So I mean, they got a lot of parasites on them, and it's because the water level's getting super low, and they won't bite as much. They're low on oxygen. It's just like me and you laying out in the sun. We don't want a sandwich.
Yeah, yeah.
We just don't want it. You can bring us a T-bone steak. We just don't want it. Sure. We're hot. We're miserable. Can't hardly breathe, and that's just how it goes. That's a fish thinking that same. It just gets hard to catch. And I'm driving by these ponds that I fish. I haven't fished in 2 months for bass. I've just been so busy that I haven't fished for bass. Almost, I fished for peacocks when I was in South Florida last weekend, and even those waters are super low. It's just crazy low all over. So, no, but to answer that question, no, it does not affect, the offshore fishing.
Okay.
It's still phenomenal.
Is it?
Oh, my God. Still phenomenal. Not a lot of mahi. They moved, the winds hung out to keep us off the mahi, which is kind of, I kind of see it as a blessing in disguise. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? A lot of mahi made it.
Yeah.
They made it through, a couple hundred, maybe 1,000, 4,000 or 5,000. Who knows? All the boats out there just yanking in mahi. We'll have a good run next year. It'll be awesome. So we're excited about that. You know?
Well, that was my question. You got time for some other questions?
Absolutely. Let's lay it on them.
We got more questions.
You've got mail.
Letters, we get letters, we get stuff.
Whoa, yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman.
Send me an email with all the details.
Another freaking email. Another freaking email song.
Mail time. Mail time. The mail's here.
Yeah, I'm a top flight, hold you tight, get you there by daylight, do you right overnight mail.
There it is.
Nailed it once again, Rodney. Jeff T.
Come
from
on,
Maitland,
Jeff T.
Florida said, is bass fishing better in a boat that is trolling or sitting in one place?
That's a great question, Jeff T. Here's how you look at it. If you're fishing live bait, one place doesn't hurt a thing. You can even troll your live bait at a very low speed. Now, here's the deal. If you're trolling covers a lot of new ground. So if you're casting off the front of a boat, trolling is your ideal thing. You want to get that lure to as much different water as possible. If you start catching fish in a spot and you're just hitting one couple of casts, another one, stop your trolling motor and stay in one spot and fish that spot out. Does that make sense?
It's a great way to scout a location.
Absolutely. So basically, your bait, your artificial bait, is basically a search bait, man. You're just throwing. Dry lures do not catch fish. Just keep throwing, keep fanning, flip, do whatever you got to do. And once you start hitting fish, it's a good chance there's more fish in that area. So just kind of back off on your trolling motor a little bit and really cover that ground right around you.
So you're saying you recommend throwing in front of the boat?
Well, start out in front.
Okay.
Fan cast just like you would off land.
Okay.
So start out in front, work your way down. If you got a buddy in the back of the boat, he can start, set some parameters.
Okay, sure, yeah.
There is called, boat advantage, front boat advantage. That's the guy in the front boat is fishing unfished waters. The guy in the back of the boat is fishing fished waters. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If this guy catches a fish, he pretty much scared a lot of fish off.
I never thought of that, but it makes total
But
sense.
I've been in the back of the boat and skunked the guy in the front of the boat because I'm using a different method.
Of course you have, Rodney.
It happens. I apologize,
Of course
Hector.
you have.
It's happened.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's a great question, actually. That is a phenomenal question.
All right, Tony H. from Colorado Springs, Colorado, says, what is the best way to rig a worm to catch the most bass?
Oh. Now, I'll tell you. Every fisherman is going to have a different way to hook a worm. You can hook a single rubber worm in probably 6 or 7 different methods. And maybe we ought to do a video on just about every method we can think of. Here's the deal. They all work. Every single one works. You can take that one worm and you can hook it in the middle, drop it as a trick shot. You can drop. There's so much you can do. So this is where I say kick in your mental tackle box. Kick it in. Learn as much as you can. Store it in your mental tackle box, and then apply all those when you get out there fishing. You remember we took our buddy Kevin fishing. He said, Rodney, will you take me fishing? I only caught 4 fish, and they've all been off your grubs. He's up to 44 bass now.
Yeah, he's killing
and
it.
He just killed, I gave him, I said, I bought him 3 lures when he got on that boat. I said, you keep these 3 lures, and I'm telling you, you're going to love them. That jig caught his biggest, I gave him a flipping jig. We caught so many fish that day, we didn't even get time to go over the flipping jig. But he kind of figured it out, and he flipped it, and he caught a 6-pound bass, his biggest bass ever right there off that flipping jig. So now this man's hooked. I may have caused a divorce here.
You can tell in the look on his face in the photos.
Yeah, he tags us in every one, and he's like, man, this is awesome. I'm at 44, and I keep going. So, it's just learning. It's, what? More important than what you have in front of your boat is what you put right there. That is the most important tackle box you're going to take on a boat. And the more you learn, you have to log it. You have to put it in your back files, because if it ain't working today, it may work next week. So you can't just discount that lure. Oh, man. I can fish with a 20-year-old lure and tear fish up like everybody did 20 years ago. Just because you think it's a 20-year-old lure doesn't mean it don't work anymore. Yeah. It's a phenomenal lure. So
our technology and our tools we use with Evolve.
Yes.
Do the fish
Yes. Yeah. I think it's fair to say that they do because they get hit with a lot of different baits. And if you fish a lake that's been fished really hard, I think they get pretty savvy. Now, some people say the fish have a short memory. I've caught the same fish twice. I pulled they broke my line. I pulled my worm out, from mistake. Yeah.
Looking for the nod from the boss, man.
Thank you for calling Rodney Rogers Outdoor. This is Rodney. How are you?
How's it going?
Good, man.
My name is Tyler. My name's Tyler Wilson. I'm from Northwest Oklahoma.
Tyler, how are you,
Got
buddy?
a couple different. Doing pretty well. Just started listening earlier today at work, and I've listened to 5, 6 podcasts today, and
right
got
on.
a couple questions for you.
Absolutely, man.
Was wondering, do you ever make your way over here into Oklahoma to do any bass fishing or maybe some walleye?
Tyler, I'll tell you this. I have not, but I would do it in a heartbeat. I mean, flights are so cheap right now, man. You would not believe where I would fly to fish.
Man, we just had a pretty good walleye tournament here at my local lake. It's about 20 miles from me. Had a 7 or 8 pound walleye get pulled.
Wow.
I think it was close to an 11 pound largemouth was the biggest caught.
Out of Oklahoma, that's amazing.
Yeah, we've got some pretty big fish that have been pulled. Another lake close to me had some guys go down and pull 30, 35 pound flathead on a rod and reel.
Wow.
We had a couple relatives of mine one shot a 43 and one shot a 38 pound white buffalo carp. Bow fishing.
Now, do you guys have a lot of carp up there? I mean, that's not?
There is quite a bit of carp.
Is that the
we got
invasive
drum.
carp? Is that the one that's like an invasive species, or is that just a standard carp you guys got, a native?
I think it's just a standard carp up here.
Okay.
And I'm just now getting big into bass fishing. Here in the last few weeks, really started trying to hit them hard, trying to get me a john boat set up so I can go, hit some points and
right on,
kind of troll around the lake a little better. Get me a new bait caster rod.
I'll tell you what, Tyler. Do you have Facebook and all that social media stuff? I mean, I would love for you to follow us and then and somehow contact us, man. I would definitely be interested.
Post on the page.
Yeah, and walleye is definitely on my bucket list, along with smallmouth, and salmon and rainbow.
I follow your page now.
Okay.
I don't even remember. Well, you were on the. I think it was the Salt Strong.
Oh,
podcast.
yes, the Salt Strong podcast, yeah.
Last year.
Absolutely.
Back in the fall.
Joe and Luke Simon.
I've just, here recently, I've been listening to them, listen to Ike Live.
Ike Live is awesome.
And
yeah.
Listening to Salt Strong, you came on there and you were talking and your catchphrase just caught me. And it hit me pretty well. Between me and my girlfriend here at home, we've got 5 kids in the house, so it's definitely one of those.
You kids get outside and stay.
It's nice out. Take your butts outside and stay.
I mean, how many times have we heard that one growing up, Tyler? Absolutely.
Oh, I've heard it quite a few times myself. My mom used to tell me, and I used to hop on my little bicycle and grab my fishing pole and ride across town and hit a little creek that runs through town.
You know what? You know what you got to do is on our YouTube channel, we have a video where Mike and I had took a couple young gentlemen bass fishing for the first time, and we just scooped them up right off the road. I think you guys would get a kick out of that video. I'll repost it.
I remember you talking about that on the Salt Strong show.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it was one of your guys' nephews.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It was Mike's nephews, and man, we shot a great little video.
I sat out for about 30 minutes last night with my 3-year-old daughter on my lap, and I was showing her with a spinning reel, to open the bail, and she was just dropping the line. She'd hold it, but she couldn't cast it at all, so she'd drop it, and then I'd tell her, close it, and then she'd close it and reel it up, and then we'd go through it again.
That's the perfect age of my. I mean, I taught my daughter and my son at 4 years old.
That's
cool. It when they could hold the full size Zepco. I mean, it was a full size. I didn't buy them a short one. And by the time they were 5, they could cast that reel. Just not as good as I could, but they could definitely cast it out there and catch fish.
I've got a guy who's donating me a few of the kids' rods, so I'm gonna take him out to a personal pond of a personal friend. They've got a lot of nice bass out there that we're gonna go hit, and that way I can take all of them out and kind of teach the ones that really don't know much about fishing some.
Absolutely.
And they may teach me something.
Hey,
you never know.
I've said it 1,000 times, Tyler. We've got so much room in our mental tackle box that we can never have it too full, man. Well, Tyler, definitely keep in touch with us, man. I would love to come up there and catch walleye. I would love to put you on the list. And Mike and I have about 7 weeks coming up where we're kind of not doing a whole lot. So a flight to Oklahoma would be absolutely freaking awesome. Wouldn't you agree, Mike?
It's just a plane ticket.
It's just a plane ticket. Exactly.
I've always said that.
We'll worry about where we're staying when we get up there. But man, definitely, Tyler, I thank you so much, buddy.
Not a problem. Thank you guys for answering.
Yeah.
All righty, my man. Cool. Have a good one, Tyler, and give all the babies a hug for us.
I will do. Thank you.
All right, my man. We'll see you later, buddy. Mike, Oklahoma, right there. How's that?
What a nice call.
You ever been to Oklahoma?
I have landed in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma,
huh?
I've been living in Oklahoma.
That's Oklahoma. No,
that's Oklahoma.
No, I've been to Oklahoma just through various airports, but I've never spent any time there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
How cool would it be to catch a walleye?
I know, right?
Dude, don't even tempt me. I will fly out tomorrow. I got plenty of vacation.
Shout out to the Salt Strong boys.
It's definitely Joe and Luke Simons. If you don't listen to the Salt Strong podcast, you definitely need to.
But I can relate to Tyler because I follow the Salt Strong podcast as well, and through
so do I. Yeah,
I have been turned on to other, no offense, other fishermen,
absolutely,
other podcasts and stuff. I mean, some I discard pretty quickly, but I latched onto some through listening because they reach out to other people doing this similar stuff and just get their stories, and I think it's a great thing.
They've got a couple guys that I absolutely hang on to and I listen to
Yep.
quite often. Absolutely, especially their inshore guys. Absolutely,
yeah, they're good guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Tyler, I can't thank you enough, man. It's just so good to see a number come in from another state that they're listening to us.
Yeah, that's not a sales call.
Absolutely. I know when Oklahoma came in, I'm like, oh, here we go. We'd like to sell you a car warranty, something like that. But thank you so much, Tyler. Give the whole family a hug. Give Mama a hug. Thank her for letting you listen and that good stuff.
It's a good family event, no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
Wear your life jackets. If you're
Wear your life jackets, definitely.
You got time for one more question,
I
Rodney?
do, man. Lay it on us.
A bass fishing tournament sounds fun, Rodney. Would you recommend a beginner doing one? This is from Tanya H. in Lowell, Indiana.
Only if you want to be addicted. I would definitely recommend. If you get a chance to get in a tournament, if you're a bass fisherman,
Is it over somebody's head, though? I mean, is that too much too soon?
I don't think so. I honestly don't think so.
Do it and take what you can from the experience?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Because a bass tournament offers a whole nother level of pressure. Where normally you'd be relaxed and you'd go to your favorite lake and you catch a ton of fish. Here, the pressure, you got your mind going. You got it's a whole nother ballgame. It's like golf. Once your mind gets in this mindset, you can fish your bait too fast. You can fish, because you have a tendency to fish fast when you're limited on time.
Could it overwhelm you, though? Because fishing seems, from an outside perspective, it's laid back.
Where it would overwhelm
doing,
yeah.
But a tournament, there's a lot going on there.
There's a lot
timing, and it's like you said, it's a whole other ball game.
Here's where it would get overwhelming. I would say definitely do the tournament if you get the option. Now, if you're looking to get in a tournament series, here's the adage that goes with being a tournament fisherman. You have to master your home waters before you ever decide to be in a tournament series. And when I say master your home waters, I mean go to your lake, your local lakes that are around your area, and catch fish regularly. Now, if you're just talking about hopping in a tournament for a one-time deal, if you got the option, definitely, man. It's a cool feeling. The whole process, the captain's meeting, everybody in their boats, they're all pre-fishing. The whole process is really, really awesome. Now, if you're a beginner fisherman and you're wanting in the tournament series, I wouldn't recommend jumping in a tournament series as a beginner fisherman. Like you said, it can be pretty down, you get downstrop pretty quick. because you're not successful and everybody's beating you by a couple 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Not a couple 100, but you know what I'm saying.
Sure.
Everybody's weighing in 20, 30, 40 pounds, and you're weighing in, if you catch a fish, and you may be the lucky one and just nail it. But if you have the option to do it once, man, it's a blast. You get that feeling, you get that rush, and you'll know if you like it. Then bail out and go from there.
Do they make? Are there tournaments catered?
Absolutely.
For the novice?
Absolutely. You have tons of tournament series out there. Look in your local. There's tons of Facebooks. You can Google it. Everybody has some kind of show out there where, you can get on here and say, okay, I'm a novice. I want to fish tournaments. And they go, look, we got a spot on our boat. Hop in. Because I know when I fish tournaments, I always I paid for 2 people, and I often went by myself. So it would be awesome to have a novice in the back to get that first feeling of a tournament.
Sure.
Behind
Yeah.
it. And who knows? Blind squirrels get nuts all the time. They catch a 10-pound bass.
Yeah.
I mean, I took my daughter's boyfriend fishing for the first time. He catches a 5-pound bass. It took me 25 years to catch a 5-pound bass. So, I mean, anything could happen, So definitely for the experience, if you get the option to only do it once, hop in and do it by all means.
Okay.
Yeah, it can be, you go in it knowing you're not going to win it as a beginner.
Yeah.
And you may get lucky and do it.
But like you say, if you take a step back and just
look at the whole experience,
take it for what it is.
You know exactly what you're getting into on the next tournament, or the level that you have to reach to be in a tournament series.
And pay attention. You might learn something for next time, even from watching the other guys do it.
Stuff that mental tackle box. You know what I'm saying?
Can you just follow somebody else around the lake? Does it work?
You can, but they recommend you stay at a pretty good distance away. But yeah, it happens to the pros.
Don't be so obvious.
Yeah, just act like you ain't looking. Just hit it out there like this.
Hey, Tyler, thanks for calling tonight.
Tyler,
Sincerely,
thank you so much.
I have hit us up on Facebook with maybe a photo or something.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to make sure that we got the name right, because on the phone sometimes it's hard to understand. Was it Tyler?
Yeah, I think you said Tyler.
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't,
I thought it might have been Piler.
No,
then I've never met a Piler.
Nope, or a Myler.
Or Eiler, Dyler, Byler. No,
yeah,
it's probably Tyler.
Tyler. I'm gonna go with Tyler.
But let's get a last name connected. I think that was very cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much. So, Mike, we didn't even get a chance to talk about gator tags. We know Steve drew his tags. I did not draw tags. Nick drew Toho tags. Steve drew Cypress tags, which is what I've been after for 20 years.
Wait, so back up. We got 2 minutes to.
Yep.
So Steve got tags.
Steve got tags for Lake Cypress,
Okay.
which is I've been trying for 20 years.
Where's Lake Cypress?
It's south of Lake Toho.
Okay.
But you have to go all the way through Kissimmee, all the way down Canoe Creek Road
wow.
to hit. I mean, it's a good haul. You got to be there most of the night.
Okay.
So you got to set in at 5 o'clock and you're there.
Steve got.
Yeah.
Is it huge lake size?
No, it's not. It's not huge. 400s, I think.
Okay.
400 for the season or 6.
Okay.
I mean, it's very, very, very limited. He got the first hunt. So
wow.
Good job, Steve. Nick got Lake Toho.
He did.
He did get Lake Toho. The last hunt of Lake Toho, I believe. And then I drew 0 Sasquatchy.
Well, next time around, right?
Next time around.
Another shot.
Yep. So we got another shot coming up, and I'm gonna. You know what? I'm not even sure I'm gonna fill out for him. I'm gonna see what's available.
Well, it sounds.
I'm gonna have my hands full.
Like you're gonna be busy.
You know I am.
You can load up too much.
I know.
You only have so many weekends in the season.
Exactly, and that's you know what? I wasn't mad that I didn't get
Sure,
them.
yeah.
I wasn't mad because I knew they got theirs, and I thought, well, we're gonna hunt gators no matter what. You know,
you're gonna
so
be part of the excitement.
When I didn't get them, I'm like, I kind of, because this is, having to fill 6 tags can be pretty time consuming.
Yeah.
When you only do it on weekends, and there's not a whole lot of weekends, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Seems like there is, but weather starts moving in around, September, October.
Yeah, it goes quick.
And next thing you know, you got a weekend shop because you can't get out, and it's just, it just kind of. So it's Tyler Wilson is what it is.
Okay, excellent.
Right on, Tyler. I appreciate it. No, I just seen on Instagram. He started following us on Instagram.
Oh, cool. Tyler Wilson.
So if it's the same Tyler, appreciate it, Tyler. I'm sure it is.
Very cool.
Thank you so much. So yeah, that's our tag update, and we may give. I'm going to see what's available. If there's some county tags available, I may pick some county tags.
All I can say is about to get exciting.
No, dude, it's that time.
It's that time.
It's that time. So. Whew.
Well, that's enough. What else you got coming up? Anything fun?
So, Mike, we got the fish trip this weekend we got coming up. We got you and I are trying to bump heads. So when you get done with your tour of duty, we will do a live event at a Gnarly Barley, which works out because Trace said he won't be back till the mid-June.
Okay.
He's on vacation in Europe. So once he gets back, we will schedule us a live event at Gnarly Barley, the new Gnarly Barley.
Okay.
And we'll hash it out there. So we'll have a live event there. And what else we got coming? We've got, obviously, fishing. No hunting until gator season, which is the 15th.
Okay.
It's just basically inshore, offshore, and who knows what we got.
Fired up charters. Got a few of those coming, some spots open.
We got some fired up charter spots wide open. As a matter of fact, we got one left on this one. One spot.
Work fast. You can get in there.
We don't mess around. Yeah, work fast.
4 more days. 5 more days.
That's it, man. Other than that, man, it's just me and you. We got to get out and do some things.
I'm ready.
Me too.
I'm cabin fever.
That's what I'm talking.
Huge.
And as my mama said 18 million times, Tyler, you've heard it too. You kids get outside and stay.